Hi there, AYP gang, and thank you for joining me here again. Today I wanted to talk to you about standing up for what you believe in and taking action when and where you can. Now, I'm not talking about all the keyboard warriors out there berating folks in the comment section every time they have any little thing to disagree about. I'm talking about actually standing up and doing good. Now, there are three ways that I wanted to talk about, and the context that I wanted to discuss them is the context of civil rights. Now, to be clear and specific, civil rights is the rights of citizens to political and social freedom and equality. It's from the Oxford Dictionary. You can go ahead and look it up yourself. Now, the first way I wanted to talk about is stopping it with your hands. By stopping with your hands, I don't necessarily mean using force. I mean taking some physical action to try and stop what you see is wrong in this world. If you see someone being abused and you can step in, step in. If you see a company using their power to oppress a minority group, boycott them. If you see something wrong and you can do something about it, do something about it. That's what I mean. To give you an example from my own life, I don't eat at Chick-fil-A. I don't eat there because they support these conversion camps and they give a lot of money to anti-LGBTQIA plus hate groups. And from time to time, I'll drive for a food delivery company. I won't say which one, but every now and again I'll see an order from Chick-fil-A. Go pick up an order, Chick-fil-A, and drop it off somewhere else. And every single time I will decline it. Because I refuse to do anything that would lead to that corporation making money. If somebody at work brings in Chick-fil-A for the team, I won't eat it. Doesn't matter that I didn't pay for it. It doesn't matter that I had no part in buying it. I will not support it. And part of not supporting it is not eating it. Making sure that people see that I don't eat it. And if they ask me why, I'll tell them why. Now, I'm not a member of any of those communities, the LGBTQIA+, etc. But I believe that all people have the right to a peaceful existence. So I'll stand up to bigotry towards any of them. Now, that's an act of rebellion in a capitalist system, because that's the system that I live in. But it's an act of rebellion that's in hopes of cementing the rights and freedoms that are supposedly granted to all people by the Constitution of the United States. In short, if you try and lob bigotry and hateful rhetoric at any of my brothers and sisters, you will have to go through me first. And I will stop it with my hand. This brings me to my next point. If you can't stop it with your hand, speak out against it. Now, I've linked to a reprinting of a speech given by the late Dr. Huey P. Newton on the necessity to be inclusive when it comes to gay people and women when we talk about oppressed groups in this country. It was a speech that he gave back in 1970, but I believe that it's just as relevant today as it was, 51 years ago. Some of the language is a little bit, but it just, with the times and with the way words and language change, it's something you just have to accept. Now, Dr. Newton believed that gay people were the most oppressed group in the United States, which is something that always kind of gave me pause because of who Dr. Newton was and what he did in his lifetime and for who. But he had the foresight, I guess. I'm sure that's not exactly the right word I mean, but he saw in his society, in his day, in his time, that gay people were more oppressed than anyone else, in his eyes. Now, Dr. Newton was a very thoughtful and insightful person, so I recommend that you read the speech in full when you get a chance, but I'll give you a short excerpt. And what made them homosexual? Perhaps it's a phenomenon that I don't entirely understand. Some people say that it's the decadence of capitalism. I don't know if that is the case. I rather doubt it. But whatever the case is, we know that homosexuality is a fact that exists, and we must understand it in its purest form. That is, a person should have the freedom to use his body in whatever way he wants. I'll put it another way. A person has the right to autonomy. Now, speech can be an incredibly powerful thing because it has the ability to stir something in the breast, especially when it comes from a powerful speaker like Dr. Newton, like Angela Davis, like Harvey Milk, like Abraham Lincoln. It's the demanding to take action when we can no longer abide what is for what should be. It's a way to empower others to act and to let the oppressed know that they are not alone. Now, none of these pieces exist on an island, and each of us has to play our own role in order to affect real change. So if you have the ability to act, act. Stop it with your hands. If you don't have the ability to act, speak out against it and empower those that are acting or that could act. And that brings me to my third point. If you can't stop it with your hand and you can't speak out against it, then hate it with all of your heart. You might not have the right to speak out or the ability. You might live in fear of reprisal if you do speak out or if you do try to act. I understand that. There is no fault for inaction when there is simply no action that you can take. Now, during the Lavender Scare, there were plenty of folks who were in fear of persecution for their sexuality. They faced not only the loss of their jobs, but their homes, their families, and their lives. Now, up until recently, entirely too recently if you ask me, it was an affirmative defense to the charge of murder, homicide, in the United States to say that you were shocked by someone's sexuality to the point where you saw no alternative but to murder them. If you are in fear like that, hate the oppression with all your heart. It might not feel like it, but you are not alone. Hate it with all your heart and never surrender. Anyway, that's all that I had for right now. May peace and blessings be on you and those you love. If you get a chance, please like, comment, subscribe, interact conscientiously in the comment section below. Please let me know of any discussions that you'd like to have or any topics that you'd like to hear from me. I'm always happy to hear from anybody watching, anybody listening. If you have negative feedback, give me a thumbs down. I am fine with that, happy with that, matter of fact. Like I said, peace and blessings be on you and those you love. Good night.